How are we doing out there tonight? Wonderful dinner from the Pioneer Mill Restaurant. Welcome to the Gary Goff Show. I'm Russell Snyder. Gary Goff, head football coach, Tiffany University, sitting right next to us. And, Coach, how are we doing today on this fine afternoon?
I'm doing great. It's finally football season.
Finally football season. Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming in tonight. And welcome back to Tiffany University football. All you players coming back from last year, all you newcomers coming in. It's an exciting time of year. We're super ecstatic for you to be here. I'm Russell Snyder. This is my broadcast partner right over here to my left, Mr. Matt Kibler. We're the ones who take care of the broadcast and the streaming for all the games this year. We had some upgrades this year, so our streaming product that we're putting out there for all you fans and family should be a little step up from what we had last year. And keep in mind, folks, we're one of the few schools in our conference who broadcast and stream all of our athletic events for free. So pick the right school to send your children to come play football for this guy here, Coach Gary Goff. So, Coach, it's a very exciting day. Everybody coming in here, and first day on campus, first day at camp, and it's not really that long of a camp because the season starts right around the corner.
Yeah, there's been some rule changes by the NCAA. They kind of like to drop those rules on us in late June.
Right.
But we made the adjustments, and, summer went by extremely fast. But, from the looks of it, everybody had a great summer, and a lot of our players spent a lot of time in the weight room and conditioning, getting bigger, faster, and stronger, which is required. But it's nice to have everybody back, see the families. We haven't seen the families in quite some time. And, we get to work first thing Monday. We got tonight and then all day tomorrow to kind of do some leadership things and get rid of, all the paperwork out of the way and get them moved in and situated. So, one thing with the rule changes, it's pretty nice because we're not up against the gun right off the bat. So we got some time to get some things done.
Well, the season, as we said, starts not that long away. It's a Thursday night opener this year on August 31st when the Dragons welcome in Findlay, a rival from just down the road, west on 224. And, interesting season this year, Coach, because, last year come off a very successful campaign, 8-3 season, 7-3 in conference. And, you look at some of the message boards, and I think a lot of people were concentrating on what you lost, but I like concentrating on what you're bringing back because you're bringing back a core of a pretty darn good football team.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with being the underdogs, and that's fine.
No, we've embraced that role here, haven't we?
No, obviously we had a great season last year, had a lot of great things happen to us, a lot of firsts, but, we're probably a more talented team from top to bottom right now than we were a year ago. So, everybody's concentrating on the few players that we did lose. But, offensively, we've got 8 returning starters. Defensively, we got 6 returning starters. So, we've got a few holes to fill, but we're very excited about, the recruiting classes over the years, and we're very confident we got some really good depth and some great players that a lot of people are going to, learn their name very, very fast.
Well, you mentioned how many starters you have coming back, but then you also mentioned the depth. And, 8 starters on offense, but the depth you have at your skill positions and the depth you've been able to build at offensive line is something that we had talked about in the years past, something that you didn't have when you first got here, but now you're able to do so, bringing in some better class athletes, some better football players, and you have a lot of depth all over the place on the offense and the defensive side of the ball. And it's a nice thing to have this year.
Well, to kind of give you a little glimpse of it, we've got 16 offensive players who have scored a touchdown for us.
That's amazing.
Which is very
awesome.
Amazing. So, we're going to have great competition all the way through camp, which is going to make our team better. But, we can only travel with so many.
Right.
So there's going to be some really heated battles at different positions, which we all know competition makes us all better. So we're looking forward to that. And then, on the defense side, last year we were very fortunate and got a chance to redshirt a lot of young men. So now they're going to be redshirt freshmen battling for a few starting positions. And we're excited to watch them. Those guys had a great spring practice.
Maybe on the defensive side is where you've really changed the look as far as athleticism since you got from when you got here from where you are now. You have all kinds of playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. You got guys in your linebacker core who chase the ball down. They have lots of speed and come at them when they meet the ball carrier. And your defensive line is really, I think, will be a key to your team this year. We're going to talk to your defensive coordinator, Matt Edwards, in just a little bit. But you got those playmakers in your second and third levels of your defense, and that defensive line should allow those guys to do their thing.
Well, one thing we had to do from the very beginning is really revamp our offensive and defensive line. I mean, you got to build the programs from the floor up, and that's what you got to start with. So we're very deep on both of those units, and that's allowed us to go out now concentrate on recruiting, more athletic linebackers, DBs, receivers, running backs. So, I think you're seeing the fruits of that over the last couple of years, but it all starts up front. It doesn't matter how much talent you have behind them. If you don't have the D-line and the O-line, you can forget about the rest.
Well, here on the program this evening, we're going to talk to Matt Edwards, the defensive coordinator. We're going to talk to Josh Eisen. He takes care of the strength conditioning, the special teams for the program. We're also going to talk to a couple a couple of the upperclassmen leaders, 2 offensive players, 2 defensive players who, if you're here with a young freshman, sophomore player, and these are the young men that these guys will be looking up to, and there's a nice group of kids you're bringing in here on the program tonight, guys who have led by example and are setting the example for the young kids here in your program.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things we kick off camp tonight talking about, and that's really the culture we've created here. We've done a great job with our student athletes. Absolutely, we want the bigger, faster, stronger football players, but we also want the young men that got great character. We want their families involved, and it really is a family atmosphere here. We got over 400 people sitting here right now at this barbecue cook-off to start the camp, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to walk around and see people you hadn't spoke with in a few months and ask about their vacation. They ask about your vacation. More importantly, they want to know about the team.
Right.
But we've done that, and it's taken us some time, and it's been some trial and error, to be honest. I mean, we got to recruit the young men who are a good fit for us and want to help us reach our goals as we help them reach theirs.
Yeah, and the parents who are bringing in kids to this program for the first time, and Coach talked about the culture of the program, and that is one thing that I've seen this man turn the culture of this football program around from where it was to where it is now. And you absolutely picked a great place to bring your young student athlete to come play football, and a great man to help lead them. And can't wait for this season to get started, Coach. And why don't we bring up the defense coordinator, Matt Edwards, have him come up here and talk about the defense here. Here he comes. He's done this before. He was right back here waiting on us, so we didn't have to wait for him too long.
Yeah, no, Matt's entering his 4th year with us. We kind of laugh about that. It just doesn't seem that long ago.
Right.
They've done a great job defensively for us. We're a fast, athletic, very aggressive defense, and I can't speak highly about the job he's done for us on the defense side of the ball. So,
Coach Edwards, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Appreciate you having me on tonight.
Get that microphone a little bit closer there to you. But thanks for coming in. Let's talk first of all about some of the guys you have coming back from last year's team. The kids who get you really excited when you think about the kids you have from what they did last year, the work they put in the spring, and what you're expecting from them this fall.
Well, I think we've got a lot of familiar faces back. We've got some great depth. I'm going to start up front with the defensive line, especially our interior defensive line with Vinny Jones returning, Austin Jasper. Those guys have played a lot of snaps. And then you kind of move to the outside. You have Victor Cave. And then we've got some young guys that we're really excited about that maybe redshirted or are just coming into the program. They're going to get a great opportunity. When you go from the defensive line back to the linebacker level, we have Jacob Murtis returning, and then we have Brandon Burks playing the Mike linebacker, and then some other young players vying for positions, and a lot of that position is going to also give us some great depth in special teams, which I know Coach Eisen is going to hit on. And then you move into the secondary at the safety position with Conti returning and Dejan Isbell and Juan Nelson. You've got guys who have played a lot of football.
That's true.
And then there are some young guys on the outside mixed in with some veterans like a Jalen Alexander, DeLon Wynn, different mix of people that are vying for those corner positions. But the biggest thing that we're looking for are guys who can run, and I think we have that.
Well, all the names you mentioned, Coach, are guys that we have said their name multiple times in our broadcast, and a lot of playmakers. Is that one of the things you've seen in your time here at Tiffin University on the defensive side, from where it was to where you are now in a few short years, the amount of playmakers you're getting, and I assume that automatically correlates to the amount of athletes you're getting?
You know what, I'll give those guys great credit. Athleticism is something that we look for as coaches, but honestly, our guys on defense play incredibly hard, and that's what we demand of them, and they do a great job giving that back to us. And the reason a lot of guys make plays is because they're just playing hard, and that's going to be the goal when we go out there without effort. We don't think anything is attainable, but when our guys go out and give great effort and they play with excitement, we're a unit that's capable of doing some really special things.
When you look back at last year and you get ready for this upcoming season, what's the one area of improvements you would like to see your kids do on the defensive side?
I think we've got to do a better job attacking the football. When the ball goes in the air, I think we were second in the conference in interceptions, and takeaways are everything. I mean, it's all about the football. Here on defense, we're trying to take the ball away. The offense did an unbelievable job of protecting the football last year. We did a great job going and getting the ball when it was in the air, but we got to knock the football off people. We got to do a better job stripping the football. We got to create takeaways and give the ball back to our offense because they can capitalize and turn that right into points.
Well, you look at your defense last year, a lot of these games, you were holding teams into teens. The number of points they were giving up, and Coach, we had to outscore them when you first got here and started taking over this program. I mean, you had to get to 45 if you wanted to win the football game, it felt like. But you guys have really turned it around. You guys are really playing that kind of defense that makes the other teams really have to prepare that much harder for you guys. And you mentioned the special teams. I know you have a couple guys in your unit that will play a little bit of special teams as well. Talk about how important it is to be able to work out. Like Coach said, you can only travel so many players. So you guys on the defensive side, they want to make that travel squad, they better work hard and make sure that they can play defense and special teams.
Well, that's both sides.
That's
we
both
talk
sides,
about that as
yeah.
a staff. I mean, they got to play special teams, and we don't care if they're a starter or a backup. But when you can only travel 58, you're right. It's like an NFL roster. They've got to get on a bus, and if they're not on any special teams, sometimes that's the difference between them and somebody else.
Do you guys emphasize that to the kids? Like, yeah, you may not be number one on the depth chart, but that doesn't mean you can't work your tail off and make a spot on that travel roster.
Oh, there's no doubt. And you have to contribute on special teams. One, because of the roster size when we do travel, but one, it's a great opportunity for you to help the team. You know, it's a really selfless act to play on special teams, to give your all and go into a game and being prepared just as much on special teams as a starter on offense or defense. And at the end of the day, only 11 guys can trot out there on the defensive side as a starter, but you can be a starter on all 4 core special teams and have just as much impact on a game as maybe some of the other guys.
Well, it's like, Brandon Person a few years back.
Right.
The only reason he was going to make the roster with the Arizona Cardinals is because he was going to get a start on special teams, not at strong safety. And he was a very, very good player. So, very, very similar right there. You got to play on the special teams.
Well, we've seen it. I mean, the special teams can change some ball games real quick. And having guys who are willing to give that, 110%, as they say, on the special teams to make all the difference in the world. Coach Edwards, you look at your kids this year too. Talk about some of the maybe some of the things that some surprises we may see. You don't have to mention any players' names, but maybe something a little different than we may say from the Dragon defense this year. We're a little faster. You think we're hitting a little harder, a little bit stronger in the interior.
We don't want to.
I'm not asking too much, but yeah, I mean, do you think is it a speed difference this year? Is it a strength difference? Is it a tenacity difference this year?
Well, let's just start from a strength difference and just. We have a lot of players stay yet again this summer. I think maybe from the time that I've been here until now, all the coaches, starting from Coach Goff, obviously, and Coach Eisen, keeping guys here over summer, we're a stronger football team. And what a lot of guys don't realize is speed's so important. The only way to get faster is to get stronger. And the guys that have stayed here all summer and worked out with Coach Eisen, they come into camp, they're stronger, they're bigger, they're faster, and they're just able to go out there and do more. They've raised what their best is. And that's really a tribute just to their commitment over the summer. So we just try to continue doing what we do on defense. That's playing incredibly hard, playing fast, and the bigger and the stronger we get, well, the more impact we can have when we play fast.
Yeah, impact's a great word to use there on the defensive side of the ball as well.
Absolutely.
Any words to the wise for these young defensive players as they get ready to deal with what you're going to put them through here over the next couple of weeks?
Run to the ball.
Run to the ball.
Run.
Pretty simple game, right?
Hey, see ball, get ball, run as fast as you can, and I won't say anything.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, our defensive coordinator, Matt Edwards. We'll give him a round of applause here. We'll invite Coach Josh Eisen up here to the program. We're coming to you live from the Pioneer Mill Restaurant in Tiffin. PioneerMillofTiffin.com is the website. You can go there and find out all the great specials they have going on here. If you'd like more information on Tiffin University football program, go to GoTiffinDragons.com. You get more information on the university by going to Tiffin.edu. Now we're going to bring up a gentleman who's been a part of Tiffin University football for quite a while as well. His name is Josh Eisen. He takes care of the special teams and the strength part of the program. Coach, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Oh, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Coach, Goff, talk a little bit about Coach Eisen. I mean, like we said, he's been here. He was one of the first guys you brought in.
He's been with me from the beginning, and it's kind of funny. Still to this day, we'll sit in the office sometimes and talk about, gosh, you remember these problems we used to have, or remember this, and we laugh saying, I don't know how we made it through those dark years, but he has.
I'm right there with you.
He's been a staple of the program, does a great job in all aspects that he's responsible of. This summer, he said, I think it was 27 team records we broke in the weight room, which is outstanding. And like Coach Edwards said, almost every year for the last 3 years, we've had more and more buy-in to stay in the summer and lifting with Coach Eisen, our strength coach, and with their teammates, because you're not going to get that strong at home by yourself. It's not going to happen.
Right. Coach Eisen, thanks for joining us here on the program. And talk a little bit about the work those kids put in. Not only kids over here over the summer, but the ones that spent the time at home as well. But talk about the work that they put in. You see it firsthand.
No, yeah. We get a lot of guys that want to stay and put in the time and the effort. And the deal is they buy in. They come in, lift hard, and then we turn around and run. And the kids all talk about the conditioning, the double fists. I don't know why they're that bad, but the kids all cry that they have to do the double fists all the time. But the
parents look like, what is he talking about? And the players are shaking their heads.
But we had a really good team camaraderie, because that's why I tell the guys, it's not about the lifting and the weights. It's the fact that you guys all come here, hang out, get to know each other more and more, and now you look across and see, hey, I've done that same amount of weight with Mason Butler, with the Ramel Bells, and that type of thing.
Does that help build the trust that's necessary when you're on the football field?
100%, because now they see that, hey, in the trenches, me and you've done the same thing all summer. We've died together this summer. We know we can get through this right now.
How does the strength and conditioning part come along with it as you work your tail off in the summer to get, as Coach always said, bigger, faster, stronger? How do you curtail that in this time of year with camp starting, because the kids are going to be exhausted? You still have to get the weight in the workroom. Is that kind of a touch and go type
We don't
situation
even
for
have
you?
2-a-days anymore. We just have one practice a day. They're not
So
going to be exhausted.
they can lift twice a day instead.
Right.
No, it really just comes from the energy that I try to bring into the weight room. Really, it's just these guys are going to be tired. They're going to struggle, but I try to come in and we do our Ric Flairs and we get all jacked up and go at it, and try to win the belt every day. So
I'll talk a little bit about the special teams side of the football here. It's a 3-part game in football, and special teams are a huge part of it. Talk a little bit about special teams this year.
Special teams, we're returning Logan C., our long snapper. We do have 2 new kicker punter to the team this year, but they're very talented and we're very excited to get them on the field. Return wise, we lost Stephon Willis, but we do return Wynn and Tyler Denton and those guys, so return game should be quite nice as well.
Let's see, you have a nice plethora of athletes to choose from to put that back there in the return game. And I know Coach Goff always gets his hands involved in some of the special teams and the return game as well. How do you guys balance that part of it out?
It's a love. No, I'm joking. It's a good work relationship. We were talking about the other day on the depth chart that we probably on kickoff return and kickoff maybe have more athletes than we've ever had before on those 2 units.
I mean, that's just the fact of the roster that you've put together. I mean, the athletes, the bigger, faster, stronger. We mention that all the time, but the athletes that you guys have here, I mean, you take notice. You definitely take notice. Is that the eyeball test? Tiffany University gets off the bus. It's a football team.
Oh yeah. And and I always love the fact on kickoff that we're the fastest team down. And I tell our guys, even if it goes in the end zone, we're running all the way down just to let them know that we are already there before you caught the ball. That's how fast we are.
Talk a little bit about the cohesiveness of having a guy like Coach Eisen has been around for as long as you have here on campus.
It helps a lot. He handles a lot behind the scenes, and sometimes doesn't even have to bring it to me until it's been handled, just because he knows how we work things out and what I expect, and he does a real good job in the office too with some of the young coaches as far as, hey, this is how we do things here, whatnot. So he's kind of the man behind the scenes a lot, and helps with pretty much everything. We joke during recruiting when we introduce him to the families that he wears many hats, and I'm trying to find 3 or 4 more to give him.
Right, I believe that. That's because you trust him. Absolutely. And we were talking about the special teams here. You're talking about the return game and defending the return. Mm-hmm. And also you talk about having your long snapper back and new kickers. Being able to put the ball in the tee and put the kickoff deep. Think about that part of it, but also the part that goes along with having a long snapper return in who knows what he's doing, somebody you can trust. Is that going to make it a lot easier for your new kicker and punters?
Yes, 100%. Because the first thing every punter always asks, how good's my snapper?
I bet.
It's, we got a great one here in Logan. So he gets the ball back there nice and quick for him. They have nothing to worry about. So.
Are kickers as quirky as they seem?
Yes.
They seem very, very.
Aren't we all?
Well, everybody has a little bit to them, that's for certain.
So is Josh.
Yeah. I think they match me up perfect because I'm probably just as crazy as they are sometimes. So.
Well, I can second that. Coach, anything else here for Coach Eisen before we bring up a couple of your student athletes?
No, we're excited. We're all chomping at the bit to get out there on the field and get going. So.
Well, Coach Eisen, continue success. Keep up the great work. Ladies and gentlemen, our special teams coach and strength and conditioning coach, Josh Eisen, here on the program. Who are we going to bring up first, offense or defense?
Let's bring up defense.
All right, defense. Vinny Jones, Ramel Bell, where are you, folks? Come on up here and join the program as we.
Now, I think this is Vinny's 6th year, so hopefully he's not nervous doing this anymore. Where is Vinny?
I don't know. There he is, way back there. I see. Seems like 6 is a small number for Vinny Jones. Don't forget, folks, we'll be doing the Coach Gary Goff Show every Thursday night. You can hear the program live at the TUDragonRadio.com. We shoot live video of the program and make sure we put it up on the Tiffany University Athletics YouTube page as well. Usually up the following day, but there will not. Our next one will be the 24th. We will not have one on the 31st. That's because we're playing football on the 31st. So we got 2 athletes up here now. Vinny Jones, Ramel Bell. Guys, how you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Doing real good. Excited.
Very, thank you.
All right, Coach. Go ahead and get it started with these young men, and I'll join you here in a moment.
Yeah, these 2 guys, I think, have been here as long as Coach Eisen.
I believe it.
That's not true.
Longer.
No, actually, both of them are going into their senior year. Both of them have already graduated and going to start grad school. So it's a testament to them staying throughout the last 3 or 4 summers and taking summer classes, and we tell everybody on the team that, hey, take advantage of that. You're going to work the rest of your life, but stay and go to summer school, get ahead, so that way you can graduate early, and if you're interested, start your master's program and play your last season. So both these young men have done that, so they are great students. They've worked extremely hard in the classroom, just like they do on the field, and very excited about both of them. They're going to be leaders for us on the defensive side. And it's been a pleasure to coach them over the last 4 seasons.
Let's start with you, Ramel. What's your hometown? Let's talk a little bit about your path that brought you to Tiffany University.
My hometown is Cleveland, Ohio. My whole path here was really went to community college for a year, and the former defensive coordinator was actually still recruiting me after I sat out a whole year, which was a blessing because, I had a lot of coaches tell me that, they was going to call me back and try to get me into their school, but, because they actually stuck with it and called me in, and Coach Ison got me in, and Coach Goff got me in here, and then, I walked on at first, but then I earned my way up, worked my way up the depth chart, earned me a scholarship, and it's been a blessing ever since, and I'm happy where I'm at.
Are you stoked, just ready to get it going right now?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I was just talking to Vinny about, it feels like we just got here, but now it's our last show,
right.
Last road.
How much different does it feel walking into camp as your last go-around?
It feels a lot different, especially having a degree under your belt, and you're just like, I'm still playing football.
Right.
Get to pursue a master's, and it's pretty exciting, man.
When you look at your defense coming up here this fall, a lot of reasons for excitement. Talk a little bit about some of the other players you have on the defensive side coming back that really excite you when you think about what they do on the football field.
It's really exciting, especially with my DBs. Just sitting with them at home over the summer, watching film. Like Conti always brings up film on the TV, and Nick Lewis watches it with us, and Dejan Isabel. We all watch film together, and Jalen Alexander. We got some veterans, just like Coach was talking about. We got some veterans mixing in with some younger guys who can all play, and we're all been watching a lot of film, and we're all just really excited to get on the field. And that bond that we have built is just going to be the key to our success this year.
And what are you looking forward to the most out of camp? Finishing it up?
Actually, really the competition, man. It's a lot of receivers, a lot of talent. My boy Dontrell Brown, Trail, he's been talking a lot, living with him. So, I was getting excited going against him. And then you got Charles Harlan that you go against, and Tyler Denton, and Jalen Santoro, who's been here, just as long as us.
That receiving core is as deep as anybody's. It's got to make you that much better of a football player to go against those guys on the football field.
Yeah, we talk to Charles and Santoro and them about it all the time. Like, we as DBs are only going to be as good as our receivers make us. It's the competition that really matters. We really need that fight between everybody during camp, during every practice. Like, we really need that fire to start up every practice.
That's the right way to look at it, right, Coach?
Oh, absolutely. Competition makes us all better.
All right, Vinny, your turn, sir. What's hometown? What brought you to Tiffany University?
I'm from a suburb in Columbus called Dublin. Went to Dublin Coffin High School. My school actually did its team camp here. We came here and stayed for 3 days. We got the opportunity when I was a senior in high school to come here and stay. Coach Goff saw me and some of my high school teammates, and major reason I got to come here is one of my boys from high school, Trey Scott, was already here. He kind of really got me to go here, and then one of the kids I graduated with, Austin Rankin, former teammate, we got offered and came here together. So it was nice to play with 2 other kids from my high school.
Yeah, so a couple guys that did some really nice things here at Tiffany University as well.
Yes, it was a lot of fun.
Talk a little bit about some of the defensive side players that you play with that are getting you really excited about what they're going to do this year.
This year I think is going to be a real special year. We have 2 other defensive linemen I'm playing with, Austin Jasper and Victor Cave, who have been through this path with me and got to play a lot of games and seen a lot of actual time on the field. So you got them, plus you got a real I'm excited for a linebacker, Brandon Burks, to come in and play this year. Morgan Lloyd was a great kid, great leader, but Burks is one of the most athletic kids, I think, on our defense, and I think he's really going to change a lot of things in the run and pass game.
Is that what you've seen? The biggest change is the athleticism and probably the depth on the defense from when you got here to now?
Absolutely. It's when I came in, I started as a freshman, as a baby right away. Coach Goff threw me right in, and I'm looking at guys that are 23, grown men. I'm just like, oh, my God. Now I'm looking around, and the athleticism guys I'm playing with, I'm looking around, I'm like, wow. If I was a freshman now I'm not playing looking at these guys. So.
Well, and you've played multiple positions on the defensive side of the ball. You've moved around a little bit.
I played DN my freshman year, but I got hurt my sophomore year, sat that season out. Coach Ison kind of brainwashed me and made me put on a whole bunch of weight, and I play D-tackle now. So.
I'm sure that wasn't you eating in the calf. That was icing.
Yeah,
A mixture of the two.
Yeah. Besides those two, I think another big contributor is Ross Moore, a guy that kind of flies under the radar, doesn't get a lot of point out and a lot of respect, but he's really affected our defense a lot, and I'm really excited to see some of the young kids they're getting older, like Carrington Conti, him, Jacob Murtis, these kids that, they were babies last year, but they're starting to step up, and from what I saw all spring is they're really embracing that role, so it'll be exciting to play with them.
All playmakers. All the guys you mentioned are all definitely playmakers, and playing on the interior part of the defensive line there, there's not a lot of glory there. You're just trying to make sure that your linebackers get there and make the plays and stuff, but it's got to feel good to you to know that you got guys back there who are going to make the plays, and you just get your head in there and just do what you got to do to make sure that you make room for everybody else.
Yeah, that's true. It also helps. Coach Edwards has a very big background, and he's also was a defensive lineman in college, so we aren't just necessarily pieces. Him and Coach Stalker really set it up so our defensive line can make a lot of plays. If we, as you saw last year with Willie Mays and guys like Jalen Randolph, I mean, just because you're a defensive lineman, especially an interior one in this defense, doesn't mean you're obsolete. Like, you can really affect the game through every play.
What's your favorite part about playing on the defensive side?
Oh, it's way more fun than offense.
Because you're hitting and not getting hit?
Yeah, it's not even comparable. It's a lot better.
Your coach is an offensive guy.
Yeah, I know.
Well, they're not the only two young men on our defensive side who are going to be making plays for the Tiffany University Dragons, but we want to bring up a couple upperclassmen to show everybody the great young men that we have here on Tiffany University football team. And, Coach, if you don't have anything else for these two, we'll bring up a couple offensive players.
Sounds good. Vinny, there's a reason I brought Mason and them up after you.
That's fair.
Ladies and gentlemen, Vinny Jones and Ramel Bell, part of our defensive crew here at Tiffany University. I'd like to welcome up now Mason Butler and Charles Holland. That's one thing, Coach. It's a lot different from when you first got here, is the defensive side of the ball. We always knew you'd recruit some offensive players, with that being your forte. But the way the defense has really turned things around and became a real force in the conference has been wonderful to see. And that was probably what was needed more than anything when you first got here.
Well, I might be an offensive guy, but let's be honest. If I've got a great defense, it sure does make play calling a lot easier.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. All right, here's Mason. I see Charles working his way up here, and we'll go ahead and say hi to Mason real quick. Mason, how are you, sir? Go ahead and grab that microphone right there.
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Welcome to the program. You've been a part of the offensive line there at Tiffany University from the moment you walked on campus, young man. So it's been a pleasure watching you play football. So thanks for being a part of the program.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, Coach, talk a little bit about what it means to have a guy like this in the middle of your offensive line.
Oh, Mason is a grinder. He is a perfectionist. I think his mother would agree with me with that. He works extremely hard, and it seems like yesterday we were sitting right here when he was a true freshman, and we thought he'd develop into a great player, but we had no idea a week and a half later he'd become our starting offensive center, which is a very, very crucial position.
Yeah.
And usually centers, there's not a whole lot of freshmen that come in and start, but he did.
No.
He's never looked back and been a 4-year starter for us. So. Very excited about this last season moving forward and having him as one of our leaders on offense, and expect great things out of him.
Mason, when you look back at your time here at Tiffany University, well, first of all, talk about where you're from and talk about your path to get here.
All right, I'm from Northeast Ohio, from a small town called Minerva. I actually heard of Tiffin. I went to a football camp at the Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, and a coach came up to me, introduced himself. He said, "I'm from Tiffin." I was like, "Oh, nice to meet you." He walks away. I'm like, "Where is Tiffin?" I had no idea, because I had to do all my own recruiting in high school. And after that, he would communicate with me after the games, and I came up on a visit. And I think the biggest thing that hit me was that coach, he stayed in, like, on one of the meetings, we had to do like a financial aid thing, and he started talking about, he stopped with financial aid. He's like, "I just want to tell you guys, we are this close to being just an amazing team." He's like, "It's driving me crazy. That's why I bring it up, because it's going to change with you guys that we recruit this year." And right then, like, I was like, wow, that's what I needed to hear. And it made a big decision. Like, when the whole scholarships are coming out, I was just so excited to see what Tiffin was going to give me.
Right.
Like, other schools are giving me scholarships, so I want to see what Tiffin was going to give me, and that's how I decided to come here and everything.
Well, your class has been a huge part of the turnaround of this football program, and you have a lot of very good football players that you're going to be leaving here with. And talk a little bit about some of the guys that you've spent the last few years here with.
Well, I just think for like offensive line wise, I came in with Logan Snyder. I have Azell came in with me too. And looking back at that, like last year, Logan came in through camp, and he got hurt in camp, and we were so upset because I was so excited to play with him. He's been my friend since I got here. Same with Azell. Azell goes 3 games, and then he gets hurt, and he's out for the season. But then we have David Hale steps up, and he takes his spot. And Dave came in with me, too, and Dave's been a grinder, too, and he's a perfectionist like myself. So and you got Charles for the receivers. I mean, there's so many, and you got Jasper on the D-line. There's so many guys that came in with me that are just hard workers and care so much about the team and care so much about what we want to do as a team.
Well, speaking of what you want to do as a team, when you look at this upcoming season, have you set any personal goals for yourself or some goals for your offensive line? 0 sacks this year, that type of thing?
Well, of course, that's like the big picture. But I mean, there's always like the dream of playing on and going on and getting all these awards, getting All-American, all that. But the way I look at it, if I think about that now, then I'm not going to be a good teammate for my team, and I'm not going to make my team the best. So I guess the goal for myself is to give my best every day, set the example, let them know what they need to be like, and if I start it, then they'll do it with me, and we're going to be a great team.
Has he embraced the role of, mentoring these young offensive linemen that you brought in? I mean, you couldn't ask for a better guy to mentor some young football players.
Absolutely. And that entire group that he just mentioned, too, I mean, they have bonded. They've been really tight over the last several years. And just to give you an example, last year we did have some injuries at that position, but somebody else stood up and had a great season. So that entire group has they've been a bunch of grinders, and if you want a group of young men that are perfectionists, you want them on that offensive line, because that's
well,
a
your quarterback does. All right, let's talk to Charles Holland down there on the end. Charles, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Well, if anybody doesn't know Charles, he probably got the greatest nickname that we came up with in the broadcast booth. We call him Mega Dragon. So welcome to the program here, Charles. Been a pleasure to watch you play football here at Tiffany University as well. You've been an excellent wideout here for the Tiffany University football team. Let's talk about what you're thinking about here heading into this season, as you've been on the football field for quite a few plays for Tiffany University as well, and it's that time now.
Yeah, it's that time, man. I'm just glad to be here. Everybody has a lot of energy, so it's a lot of energy coming back. It's a lot of depth coming back.
Does it feel any different this year?
Does it feel any different?
Yeah.
It's like, it's hard to explain. It's like nothing I can say, but it's something I can feel. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a reason why all of us is here right now at this moment to do what we're going to do this season. I feel it, and I know a lot of my teammates feel the same things, feel the same way. So I'm just excited to be here. I can't even explain it. I don't even know what to say.
Well, the depth of skill position players you have on the offensive side of the football is just absolutely amazing. A school like Tiffany University, you have just in the wide receiving core, but your running backs, there's quite a few guys there that can get the job done. Your wide receiving core is just stacked.
Loaded. We're loaded everywhere.
You are.
Like there's no doubt. I have no doubt anywhere in any of my positions. Receiver, O-line, defense, offense, it doesn't matter. Special teams. I'm just confident. I'm confident in our team. We're going to do something special. It's going to be something special.
You like that confidence, Coach?
I love it. It's getting me excited about practice. Maybe we'll practice tomorrow.
Man, right, man. We need to get going.
It is a good feeling to, when you see everybody checking in, everybody's really excited. And, social media today is crazy, and you see everybody all over social media. Can't
seen
wait
both
to
these two on social media in the weight room this summer.
Crazy.
Well, Charles, talk a bit about where you're from and your path to Tiffany University as well.
Okay, I'm from Columbus, Ohio, the west side of Columbus, inner city. I went to Fort Hayes. I played my football at West High School. We weren't very good, but I tried to make it the best as I could while I was there. Coming here, out of high school, I had troubles with my grades and troubles with school and just focusing in the classroom. So I didn't have really a lot of offers. I had looks and stuff my junior year, but when it came to time to recruit me or anything like that, they shied away because of grades. So Coach Goff and his staff came in like late during basketball season, my senior year, and they started showing me a lot of interest, and I just went with it because it felt right. Like he said, what is it, basketball on grass, Coach? That's
basketball on grass.
Throw the ball everywhere. So if
I remember correctly, Coach told me he went and saw you play basketball, and he looked at his other coach and says, "We aren't getting him to play football." So he saw him on the basketball court and said, "That's what he's going to be doing," if I remember correctly.
Right. But football is the first love. But when they came to a couple of games, they just told me what they wanted from me, what they liked, and everything. It felt right. It seemed right. It wasn't too far from home, so I didn't really have to worry about that. But it's far enough from home. You know what I'm saying? So you can get away, but at the same time, you're not too far away. But yeah, man, everything they said, it just seemed right. It was family oriented. It just felt good, and I just went with it. My mom said, "You can't go wrong with it. You're the first one going to college out of the family, so make the most of it, and that's what I did.
He mentioned the academics, and we don't talk about that enough when we talk, we do our program. We talk a whole lot of football. That's what we're here to talk about. But, a lot of times, kids may not have the grades or even high school, but getting into the college and then getting into that whole routine of college, it can make things click, and all of a sudden the academics becomes a bigger part of their lives, and then kids can turn things around. But, we don't talk about the academics a lot because that's something you guys are really proud of as well.
Absolutely, and watching him not only develop and mature on the field, but it's been a lot of fun the last 4 years watching him mature and develop in the classroom as well. And, we got a lot of support staff here at Tiffin, the study halls, the success coaches. I mean, if you're not getting it done here in the classroom, it's because you're not trying.
It's on you. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
When you look at this fall camp, Charles, you looking forward to mentoring some young football players as you become one of the veteran guys here on the program?
Yeah, it happened fast. This is my 4th year already, and it happened fast. It still seems like I'm one of the young guys, but it's time to step up and show them the ropes and let them know what's the best and how they need to be and where they need to be and how they need to do it.
Mason, he said it's going to be a special year. You feel the same way?
Oh, we've been talking about it all summer. And Charles you can't explain it, honestly. Just some days in the weight room, Charles brings energy, and it's like, oh, it's going to be special, Charles. It's going to be special.
I can't wait. I'm a small part of it. I mean, the fact that I get to be in the broadcast booth and, I guess weather protected is always a nice thing. But, I've seen you guys play. Every single play you've played here at Tiffin University. It really excites me as well, too. Coach, I've seen these young men grow up, not as much as you have, but I've seen them from when they came on campus to where they are now and see how they're starting to embrace the role of being an upperclassman and realizing, I have to take that step forward as not only as a football player, but as a man to make sure that these young guys can fill my shoes when I'm gone.
Well, there's a process to how things are done and done the right way. And, both these young men right here have just been a testament to hard work and really sticking to it. And I remember Mason's first start, and I remember Charles's first touchdown. I mean, it just seems like yesterday. So one thing we all lose focus of sometimes is worried about how hard practice is going to be or how long it's going to be. But I tell you what, ask these seniors, and it's like they blink their eye, and now they're sitting here as seniors. Right. And I joke with them all the time, well, just wait until you graduate, and the real world happens real fast. So you got to enjoy this process and cherish these moments. And all these young men have created lifelong friends and bonds that'll carry on for the rest of their lives. And, all these newcomers, transfers, and the freshmen coming in are going to take a big part of it and go down the same road.
You guys have any words to the wise for the young guys out there as they get ready to embark on camp?
For defense, run to the ball like Coach Edwards said. Offense, bring some positive energy and always have fun with it. We're going to attack the day every day.
The energy. We need the energy and just be excited to be here because it's a blessing to be doing what we're doing right now. Like a lot of people don't get a chance to do what we do. So just come out with energy and comfortable. Be comfortable. Don't be worried about so much making the play or what I'm saying, like I got to be here on this or I got to be there on that. Just be comfortable out there. We're going to talk you through. We're going to help you through it. But just bring the energy and be ready to go. It's time to go.
It's time to go, Coach. Bring the energy.
It's time to go.
That's the words.
We'll have it.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming up here and joining us on the program. And we probably held up these folks long enough. About time to get the kids back and get them ready for camp and let the parents get back on the road. But thank you guys so much for your time. Looking forward to watching you on the football field this year.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, guys. All right, Coach, any last words here before we close up the program?
No, I think you can feel the energy and buzz around the program right now. Everybody's chomping at the bit to get started, and we're going to have a great camp. And it's going to be Thursday night at 7 o'clock here real fast for that first game.
Thursday the 31st, Tiffin University at home against Findlay at Falls Cow Stadium. It's a 7 p.m. kickoff. We'll start our program about 6:30. Is it starting to rain? Looks like
perfect timing.
Everybody, thank you all so much for coming out tonight. You guys picked a great guy to leave your son with. Coach Goff's going to coach him up, and we're going to have a great time at Tiffin University football. Have a great night. Be safe traveling home, and we'll see you on Thursday nights. TUDragonRadio.com is the home for Tiffin University football and the Coach Gary Goff Show. For Gary Goff and all our guests, I'm Russell Snyder saying thank you so much. Have a great night. Be safe. We'll catch you next time.